All right, what do we got up? What do we got up next? What do we got up next? Oh yeah, we got a new Civvie video. New is 7 days ago. just a couple days late. But yeah, we got a Civvie video. EpicJazz MegaJackrabbit. What in the fuckery is this? What you guys? Yes, what in the fuckery is this? I don't recognize this. That would be hilarious if like the devs came out with the fastest perfect run. But yeah. I don't even recognize this at all, so I don't know what to expect from this. But let's go. We got Civvie. We got Civvie video.
So, Jackrabbit. Fuck! So like 2,500 years ago, this guy Aesop wrote a story about a tortoise and a hare, and now it's my problem. For posterity, I'm gonna summarize this story because they're probably gonna stop teaching it in kindergarten for being woke or whatever. A hare was throwing shade at a tortoise for being...
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Everything's it. Take it out. They're just not even doing school anymore, honestly. Burn all the books and no more school. We're all fucking dumb. We're all sharing one half of a brain cell.
And slow, so the tortoise challenges the hare to a race, and the hare is so confident that it stops in the middle and takes a nap, and the tortoise eventually overtakes him and wins. They always summed it up in my school as slow and steady wins the race, and don't fall asleep in gym class, meet me behind the bleachers and I'll give you some Adderall. Now imagine this story, but they give it the
okay, that part didn't happen for me.
Explosions, speed, extreme 90s bullshit from the most extremely 90s named company,
Extreme
Mega Games. When crisis
that
strikes,
is so
the
90s.
universe turns to one superhero, one of great strength and moral character, quick wit and inventiveness, incredible speed and flexibility, but most importantly,
I'm not surprised, Yomi.
floppy ears and a... Yes, this possession-vomit-colored rabbit is here to save the planet of Caritas from the evil Devon Shell. Devon Shell kidnapped Princess Eva Earlong, and you know how it is.
Nobody steals art.
I don't know, man, this does nothing for me, but I'm sure it awakens something in some people. Devon Shell wants to destroy Caritas. In this version of the story, the rabbit is the protagonist, and the turtle
he's
is
not
the
wrong.
gross
Not
nerd
wrong.
terrorist.
Again, not
I
wrong.
promise I'm not taking the story seriously, and I'm not going to say much more about it. It's told through comic panels.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, but I don't recognize any of this. Like, so far, nothing is springing to mind. I honestly can't remember jack shit about any of this. I don't remember seeing any pictures of it, anything in magazines. Nothing. I honestly do not recognize any of this.
And animations at the end of each episode. This is one of the earliest credits for a young Cliff Bleszinski before he hit it big with,
Yeah, I'm not surprised, Yomi.
Gears of War, I guess. Let me check something on Steam for a second.
Oh my fucking god.
People might argue with me, but I still think Unreal 2 was the hottest Unreal game. For real though, go to this website to get Unreal Gold and Unreal Tournament. If you want those other Unreal Tournament games, just pirate them. Fuck you, Tim Sweeney. In the manual, Cliffy B is described as
the creative genius
get a
who
pirate,
jazz.
get a pirate ship and just sell the
thought up all the weird stuff in this
fucking
game.
seas.
After Jazz and Jazz CD, Cliff plans to wander the beaches of his hometown, LA, looking for babes.
So I'm playing the original
Babes?
DOS version
Oh
of
my
Jazz
God.
Jackrabbit because even though there's a source port, it just feels wrong to me. I can up the resolution, but then it feels like I'm playing a shitty Newgrounds Flash game from 2005. And I know what you're saying, go to the scaling options. Yeah. OpenJazz works great, and it fixes some problems.
It
I
really
have
said
with this
fuck
game,
you.
like not being able to see fucking anything more than 10 feet in front of you. I don't have a lot of experience with this game, since every time I've tried to play it, I got frustrated and stopped for reasons that I think are valid and won't piss anyone on the internet off. Also, this is the GOG version with all the Christmas stuff, and
okay, well, that's not true because anything and everything will piss someone off on the internet. They don't need a good reason. They'll just be pissed in general. Just 'cause.
loves Christmas. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room.
They don't have anything
Or
else
should
going
I
on in
say
their lives.
The hedgehog. The hedgehog, kids. The Sonic Hedgehog.
Gotta go pissed. Gotta go brrrr.
To say that Jazz Jackrabbit is a total ripoff of Sonic the Hedgehog is a little disingenuous because the games are actually very different. See, Jazz Jackrabbit has a gun, so he's really closer to Shadow the Hedgehog. And in general, Sonic has better level design. I think
Don't be
Jazz is
disrespecting
faster,
Shadow
though,
the
which makes
Hedgehog with
sense,
this.
right? I don't think the noble hedgehog was ever renowned for its speed.
Not our emo
Neither was
boy.
the echidna or whatever Tails is besides a bomb magnet. Eat shit, Tails. Eat shit and die. Yeah, but the most fun I had making this video was playing Sonic 2. Like, I'd boot it up and play it a while and then...
Alright, Yummy.
Oh, hold on.
Go take them drugs. Damn. Damn.
So Epic Mega Games, right? They wanted
Understandable,
to push tech
though.
forward, but they're not going to do that yet. They sure tried. We're a little jaded nowadays when it comes
Brings
to
back
old leaps in
old flashbacks.
technology. But a side scroller on PC that did this, that could run on a 486, there is still technical wizardry being used here, which can be credited to programmer Arjun Bruce. I've used that whole 486 thing before, but there's plenty of people in my audience who don't know how little power that actually is. Your average 486 ran at 33 megahertz with a single core processor. The cheapest, shittiest smartphone you could possibly buy runs at about 2000 megahertz with a quad-core processor. 33 megahertz was a lot compared to consoles of the time, but consoles also had dedicated graphics processors. Consoles were manufactured for games, and PCs were not. So that's why everyone in the PC world was so excited when the collection of advanced nanotech that usurped the vessel known to us as John Carmack got proper side-scrolling working in a DOS game. The PC was not designed for this, but people did it anyway. And Jazz Jackrabbit outperforms any 2D PC side-scroller I can think of aside from, like, Abuse, which from what I can gather ran a bit worse and needed twice the RAM, and came out a year later. No matter how impressive it was that this ran as fast as it did in DOS, the actual design of the game didn't take into account anything that anyone had learned after 2 Sonic games already came out, plus Sonic CD, which I know Epic fucking played because they ripped off the bonus stages from it. You know, when id Software ripped off Nintendo, they at least did it to try and get a job. This is just like...
You stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you even knew you had, you patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox.
Jazz does feel like he moves faster than Sonic, and the screen is more zoomed in, which is a curse. Like in Sonic 1, and to a lesser extent in Sonic 2, you will run into traps that the developers set for you if you're not paying attention. The problem is that those traps in Jazz are every enemy present in the game. This is by design. If you crack open the game's manual, you'll find that there's a turtle mode, just like in Jill of the Jungle.
For those who cannot handle Jazz's incredible speed, the game plays at half speed. Hey, we don't blame you. Some people get dizzy while playing Jazz because it's so fast, but those kind of people also...
Okay, when you're you know your game basically makes people want to like projectile vomit occasionally. That might be something you might want to like work on, or
also get dizzy eating cheese.
I never got dizzy. I got annoyed because trying to play this game is like trying to catch bullets in your teeth out the window of a speeding car on the highway. And if this was a skill issue, I'd be totally fine with it.
So
I'd
you're
take the
either
L and say that this
extremely
game is just
annoyed
too rad, extreme bodacious
or
for me, but no. It's just not really designed that well.
projectile
Here's a good example of
vomiting.
this.
Got
Running
it.
down this
No in
hallway,
between.
there's an enemy speeding towards you. You have less than half a second between the time that enemy's nose appears on screen and when you'll hit it. 24 frames. Let's say that I have the fastest reaction time of any human being on the planet, which is about 100 milliseconds, which is about 6 frames. The average human reaction time is about 250 milliseconds, which is around 15
Oh, damn.
frames. You
We're
can
getting
see me
to-
trying
we're
stop,
getting
which
into
ain't gonna happen
numbers.
in time because Jazz is so slippery
I won't
to
be able to
control,
keep up.
especially in the air, but you can stop. But the chance that you'll notice the enemy coming and stop or shoot it in less than half a second Unlikely, and also take a frame away because I guess when your weapon hits the enemy, that's not when it's dead, it's one frame after that. It seems a little unreasonable, but that was the 90s for you. It was extreme. The manual is basically calling you a pussy if you turn on the slow mode. So
I do remember when, like, late 90s, early 2000s, like, everything was, like, extreme. It was, like, so out there. It was so, it gave off the vibe of, like, these big corporations full of balding white dudes, trying to be hip with the kids, and they just started calling everything extreme and shit. Like, they'll just casually hear a word that, like, the kids would be saying at the time, and they would take it and run with it and just make it cringe. It was so it was so fucking it was so fucking out there.
I never did.
Extreme.
We're falling rough. Fuck! Not only that, but your speed affects your jump height. So to do
Yeah,
some
it
of
was
the
very hello,
platforming,
fellow
you need to get
kids.
to max speed. It's
Hello,
just kind
fellow
of
extreme
uncomfortable even
kids.
if it works. And can we talk about the less than generous hitboxes here? It's really cool that this ran on a 486, but I feel like the designers were more interested in making a fast game than one that isn't incredibly frustrating to play. Great tech, very cool. I don't even think I could play this well when I was young enough to have the reaction time of an overstimulated child.
Yeah,
You guys know
everything
what
with a
parallax
Z.
scrolling is?
It
It's
was
when the
either
background image moves slower
everything
than the
with an
foreground
X
image
or
to
with a
create
Z.
the illusion of depth. It's a thing that came into prominence in gaming in the 16-bit era. Jackrabbit does not have this. So whenever something is supposed to be distant, like the night sky and the moon, and you can say the PC wasn't powerful enough to do that in 1994. You'd be wrong because Duke Nukem 2 did it in 93. It's not a huge deal, I'm just surprised it isn't here. Speed is actually your enemy in this game. Even if you have all the rapid fire pickups you need to proceed carefully so you don't run straight into an enemy. The manual says shoot, and when in doubt, also shoot. Of the 6 original episodes, you've got...
You
wait a
might
minute,
have to shoot.
Episode 4's thumbnail has Jill of the Jungle. Because if it's Epic Mega Games, it's cross-promotion, but...
For God's sake, what happened to her eye?
One of the expansion episodes has a planet called Industrious. You're here on Epic Street. This sign is advertising One Must Fall, an Epic-published fighting game that came out the same year. The next room
Jizz
has a
jack
sign
off.
for Epic Pinball. I get it, guys. You're proud of your studio. But give me a break with this shit here.
Yeah,
I
you
had
could-
one of those things, and I lost the
I said it
stupid
before,
on
like, I honestly don't recognize any of this shit. Like, none of it. I don't remember promotions of it. I don't remember seeing the game anywhere. Like, I honestly have no memory of this game whatsoever at all. And it's fucking trippy as hell.
necessary little screw-in joystick nub for the D-pad, which is fine because that was stupid. And also, I think this kind of sponsorship is a little weird. Today's episode is sponsored by Advanced Gravis Computer Technology, despite the fact that they haven't existed for 28 years. So this gamepad, man, this thing may not have enough buttons to properly emulate even the Sega Genesis. It doesn't have Hall effect sticks. It plugs into the serial port. It has no shoulder buttons.
Well, hey, Civvie.
Oh, I'm doing a plug right now, Cancer Mouse.
I'm here to help. The Gravis gamepad, the official gamepad.
Not
of
the
Jazz
jump ahead
Jackrabbit.
button.
No, really, you could call Epic and order one. It's right here on the end screen.
Uh-huh. Well, I've already got one.
A little known studio called Epic Games. They're tiny, really.
It is below even you.
I really don't see the difference between you guys.
Such ignorance. I am of the D haplo group. My ancestors are from our mother country, who braved the Mayflower. We hunted the great Cornish Rex. Finish your mission, low rodent.
Hey, wait a minute. You are definitely not the same mouse I talked to last time.
Shut up. Fuck you.
the fuck
Go
is
back to
happening?
Reddit. Fake edgelord. Call the low rodent
Fake
a slur.
edgelord.
I don't know any mouse slurs.
Oh, well, there's Mickey, Hantapoop, Vermin still works.
Jump ahead. I love how it's just. I love how it's just all jump ahead right now.
Yeah, I got you. This won't take long. You have a few weapons you can cycle through in the game. Your standard blaster, your bigger fire blaster, rockets that shoot in a spread pattern, and a bouncy grenade. All have clear uses. There's also a TNT weapon you don't find that often that nukes the screen, except you're always moving, you're going fast, so the screen is always
Gotta go
changing,
fast.
and I don't know, it doesn't seem that useful. If you don't have a rapid
kinda-
fire
that
power
kinda
up
hurt
or
my
a
eyes.
max of 10 of them because the effect can stack, you're hammering on the control key like it's a QTE. And you can't fire fast enough sometimes because like right here you have all these ammo pickups in the way. The ammo pickups that you have to shoot to get ammo. Not the little ones, you just pick those up. The big ones you have to shoot. The game is pretty generous with ammo, unless you die. So there's a save system that'll restart you with 3 lives at the beginning of each level. It's
fucking
a big
eyeballs.
compromise, right? You can save anywhere, and you have
I got
checkpoints.
flashbanged.
But if you do die or load your game, you lose all those weapons. You're back to square one and collecting more ammo. And while you can get tons of ammo, you'll be using tons of it, firing blindly in front of you. You know, unless you take it slow. Slow and steady wins the race. But I don't think that's how they intended for it to be played. You get power-ups too, and some of them aren't straight out of Sonic. The fast feet, though, I mean, come on now. They're even inside
You
little
gotta go
TVs like
brrrr.
Sonic. The best is this one, though, when you find these hip-hops. Described in the manual as half eagles, half pheasants, they'll give you some extra firepower until Jazz gets hit. Jazz's health is a bar, but don't let that fool you. You've got 4 hit points. Each carrot you collect will replenish one of them. I don't know why it's a solid bar like this, other than the fact that sometimes environmental hazards will take less off, but it doesn't matter because you're still going to be hitting the enemies more often, and sometimes the spikes don't hurt you like why is the bird called a hip-hop?
With their hippin' and the hoppin' and the bippin' and the boppin', so they don't know what the jazz is all about.
Oh god, Katie, no, not the Cosby clip. They get pretty stingy with those carrots outside secret areas as the game goes on. Every now and then you'll also find a hoverboard because it just wouldn't be the 90s if there wasn't something kinda resembling skateboarding. I don't particularly hate the combat,
was like-
even if it feels kind of a
It was like extreme skateboarding and extreme bikes. It was like, what was it? Like, I remember there was like literally just magazines that were just like called X bikes and X boards and X rollerblading. It was everything. Everything.
Mick. It feels like there are a lot of sound effects that should be there for enemy deaths. Most enemies disappear and turn into underwhelming tiny explosions. It's not very satisfying or weighty. I hate to compare it to Sonic, so I'll compare it to another mascot platformer. And the Jazz Jackrabbit fans in the audience will never forgive me.
What could possibly go wrong?
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay, I feel a little bad about that one, and in Jazz's defense, it does nearly everything else better than Bubsy. I'm not sure why these little
I feel like
turtles don't seem to hurt
I
you.
feel like we all collectively had like war flashbacks. Just because of that mention. Oh my god, existence with just a big ass X. I can see it.
But you kill them anyway.
Nice, yummy.
Oh,
Take
God,
them drugs.
Am I doing turtle genocide?
And I slaughtered them like animals.
No, Civvie, quit getting canceled right now.
So you know in
Stop
Sonic
it.
how they'll throw a spring at the end of a long stretch where you've been running at top speed just to screw you over? Imagine that, but done more frequently and much, much worse. One of the reasons this sucks so much is because unlike other games, you don't drop onto a spring to bounce around. If you so much as touch a spring from any angle at any speed, you go flying. There was no place where this game's bouncy bullshit pissed me off more than in the second episode in Orbitus.
Fire
This pushes you
Festival
into spike
2
pits,
is
and if
real
you jump
now?
too high,
What?
A thing you have very little control over, you'll hit a
What the
bounce floor,
fuck?
which will send you up again, so you have to navigate this whole section again while being pushed around by
How?
these things. There's a lot of things to throw you around
EpicJazz MegaJackrabbit. Although Yuko did call it something else.
wildly in this game. Magnets, springs, bounce floors, bounce walls, getting hit by enemies? At the start of episode 5, you've got a guy shooting you from off-screen. No. No. Where was all this cruelty when the bosses show up? Because most of them can be easily cheesed. The episode 1 boss? Yeah, it's a joke.
That's gonna... Cheesecake, that's just gonna be a fucking guaranteed disaster.
Here's another one. You can just sit
You
back
go.
and fire. It took me 3.5 minutes, but it's done.
Thought he was shooting... Honestly... Yeah.
Devin Shell needs to step up his game. So this version of the game comes with 10 episodes, and while all the levels look pretty good aside from the lack of parallax scrolling, there are other problems I didn't think would come up in a platformer made this late into the era. Like foreground objects or platforms being indistinguishable from background ones. What do you think about these platforms here? Well, you're wrong, they're not platforms, they're backgrounds. Even if they're clearly drawn to be closer to the foreground. That's an easy one though. Wait, now you have parallax scrolling? Now you have it? What about this thing right here? Is that a background pillar? What about this icicle, huh? Well, kids, that's a Mach 11. What about these vines? Well, if you land kind of close
Yeah, that
to
would
the
drive me
vertical
fucking
ones,
crazy.
you pass through. But if you land on the horizontal ones, you can walk on them. I'm not crazy, right? At least not about this. You remember those bonus stages? Well, depending on what difficulty you're playing on, you get more or less time to do them. I'm on normal and I only failed it once, but I didn't care because no matter how fast you do it, you only get 1 life out of it. This right here from a later stage in the game has you hopping across platforms, but you jump so high that you can't see where you're gonna land. The game likes to exploit your blindness. There are a couple things that Jazz does better than
this will just
Sonic,
send me
like
in
swimming.
endless rage.
See, he brought his own snorkel so he doesn't drown. Don't try that at home, kids. And another thing, you can shoot and destroy environmental hazards. That's a point right there. That's good shit. There are even some bosses that require strategy, like this big owl that drops eggs on you that hatch to make more little owls. You have to learn patterns like a real boss fight. Most of the levels are mazes that fly by at lightning speed until the last section where you're hoverboarding through space, which is cool and a nice change of pace. Then you get to the final boss, which is a giant rabbit.
Oh, God.
Wait, what? I still hate Jazz's hitbox. This is just the last boss of the first 6 episodes. Jazz saves the princess and they kiss and get into a cab driven by Devin Shell.
Uh-oh.
You little asshole. I gotta give credit to these animations. They're pretty cool, especially for the time. They're charming in that
Destroyed a
DOS
box
game
of
kinda
cookies.
way.
Oh.
After that, you've got more levels, more expansions, and of course,
haven't had
there's a
cookies in
few
forever.
Christmas levels too.
Like, I
Why
like
not?
fresh cookies.
And then more Christmas
Gotta have
levels
them
because Holiday
fresh
Hair
cookies.
95. That's not the Bunny Holiday Epic Mega Games.
Oh, no. Not the Jeebus Cross.
So I didn't want to get into Jazz Jackrabbit 2 in this video because it's such a wildly different game. They learned from the mistakes of the first one, and so now it's much farther zoomed out and way easier. The weapons are better, the feedback is better, and clearly someone understood that Jazz moved too fast by default, and so you have a run button. The levels seem a little more straightforward. Everything feels a little less like Sonic, but a little more like Earthworm Jim. You get extra playable characters too. This is a Windows game. I'm just running it. No emulation or anything. It's fine. It's not a bad game at all from what I can tell, but I don't think it's interesting enough to warrant a whole video. It is, at least, fun enough for me to understand why there's still a dedicated Jazz Jackrabbit community. Jazz has cool new moves. I especially like the helicopter ears thing because it lets you have a little more control over your descent. The new flamethrower weapon? Fucking aces. The whole thing feels a lot less slippery and awkward, and the graphics are pretty good for the time, too. Nice animations. It's weird to see early, like, DirectX stuff. Unfortunately, nobody bought Jazz Jackrabbit 2, so the plans for a fully 3D sequel were scrapped. I can't imagine why no one wanted to play this 2D mascot platformer in 1998. Holy shit. Oh my god.
Wow, let's see. We got Half-Life, Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Sonic Adventure, Spyro, Tomb Raider 3, Banjo-Kazooie. Damn, I was addicted to Banjo-Kazooie. I can't read what's down there. Turok 2, Resident Evil 2, Thief, Metal Gear, and Crash of the Bandicoot. Goddamn.
Epic the same year you
Bit of a
put out
competition.
Unreal? Wow, okay. Give me a minute, kids. That's... Wow. We do have access to a demo of that 3D platformer, so we can see what that looked like. It runs on the Unreal Engine. It's... They've completely given up on Jazz being fast. The tech can't handle it. Although you will get some speed if you... bunny hop.
Actionable pun detected.
Uh-huh. They kidnapped Jazz's children, and now we gotta go
Oh,
find them in
no.
a semi-open world 3D platformer.
Procreation?
This game is, again,
Ugh.
completely different from the last. It's not bad. It's still an early version, but you can see what they were going for. The movement is good enough. It doesn't feel bad to control, except when the whole thing slows down. No joke, this is the original version, because the patched version from the community, well, it ran too fast.
Gotta go. Brrr.
No, I don't know how to speed limit an Unreal Engine 1 game. Forcing 60 FPS didn't work. There's some kind of elemental attack system that you can swap onto your weapons so that the grenade launcher becomes a rocket launcher that shoots sideways. Hey, I get it. You guys were going to release your 3D
Oh,
mascot platformer in 2000? This is weird. I'm not used to Epic being
Okay.
so behind.
Wow, okay. Not... Oh my god. You guys... Wow.
On the
They really had
times.
no
This
chance,
would have been
honestly.
really cool in like 1998. It's no Heretic 2, but it seems like it could have become something fun. It's been interesting to see how the series evolved over just 6 years. From Sonic knockoff to decent 32-bit platformer to Unreal-powered 3D platformer, it just feels like each game is a couple years late to the party. Cliffy B said as recently as 2023 that he'd like to see the character come back, and sure, why not? Aren't we in the era of bringing every IP back from the dead in search
God,
of more
I
money?
hate that.
Fuck it.
No, it's like, no one has an original idea anymore. It's like, I understand wanting to bring, like, some classics back, but honestly, I would be more appreciative if they, if they bring back some of these classics to, like, a remastered or whatever. If they do it right, like, it's great and everything, but I wish they wouldn't only do it just because they want money to make more games about microtransactions. It's like, can we have new stuff that would become a classic in the future? You know what I'm saying? It's like, can we please?
Jazz Jackrabbit 2025, Jazz Jackrabbit Resurrection, Jazz Jackrabbit in Fortnite.
Jazz is like the new Coke.
No,
It'll be
Civvie.
around forever.
I saw
Quit
the best
it.
Jazz
Quit being
Jackrabbit is at
canceled.
BGC.
Civvie, no. You gotta stop this. Lego Star Wars 2 on TS. Oh yeah, I remember seeing that the Samurai Pizza cat fucking games. They really be, they're going through their dusty archives. And they're like, we don't have an original thought anymore besides, copy and pasting microtransactions and random ass shitty dead on arrival games. Let's dust off the archive section of of games where all the developers who ever worked on them are gone. Oh my god. Oh. Ow, fuck. Ow. My fucking leg. Ah. God damn it. I'm okay. I'll survive. There's still no chance as a child with all the robot and furry shows / games. You had no chance. None. 0. Alright, that was a pretty good Civvie video. Like I honestly, again, I've never heard of this fucking game series. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they try to bring it back. Why? Not for nostalgia, but for money. Because the microtransactions are not microtransactioning anymore. Not like they used to. Oh.